about 7 months. is all.
Well, you better get Google and save it on there, because you can save a lot of stuff.
Well, no, I have to request anything
This is
from
what I found
Verizon.
from Jones, that's what I found today from Jones.
Where's my complaints at and all that I wrote in with?
When we give a complaint to Fred, that's up to him to keep them. We started keeping them now, but
Well, I got them
I don't
too,
know
so
that they.
we'll let this proceed out and just. I got all my contact information between me, Fred, and all that. It's a game you guys been playing with me. Just a month ago, I just talked to Fred. Fred told me I was supposed to meet with you, Sam, and I was supposed to meet with the people behind me. I call Fred back. Fred doesn't want an answer. His phone.
There's nothing we can do about your easement. You're gonna have to get an.
How can I do anything if I can't get the information from the township? Anything on my property, I can't get it. But you're gonna tax me every year for 24 years I've lived there. You know what's wrong what they're doing. You're covering up for them because you're buddies with them.
With who?
With who? The neighbors behind me.
I don't even know.
Don't play the game with me, Sam. After I filed that first complaint 3 years ago or whatever, I seen you back there talking to them. I wish I would have stopped and took pictures of you back there talking to them.
I have never talked to those neighbors. I went back your driveway to look that if your driveway dumps right into the drain, the Kerr drain.
My property does not butt up to that drain.
No, it doesn't. Your property stops halfway down, but that
The
road.
neighbors raise their end up so my water doesn't go down. Well, the water's going halfway through the driveway, and it's going over to the neighbors, and the neighbor can't cut the grass, and them guys still won't let the water pass through on their property. You're gonna have problems, buddy, I'm telling you right now.
You need to get an attorney.
So it says,
We have an ordinance that says you can't.
Manipulate water too, I got
We have an
pictures of
ordinance.
everything.
This is our jurisdiction. There's an ordinance that says you cannot pond water on your neighbor's property.
And I
There's
got
an
a
ordinance
commercial
that needs to be
driveway.
enforced.
so we have no permits found on this house.
They would be in a folder
So
with that address.
what does Joan have on that house? She's gotta have something, she
Well, that's-
assesses
I
it.
just gave that to
I printed
him.
Sherry.
Yeah, we printed all the assessor cards
Right here.
when it was originally built and all this, but I don't know if they've had any building permits or electrical permits or whatever since it was built. If they did, there should be a file on it,
There's nothing.
but there isn't. And that was way back in 1977 when they built. Should there be a building permit at that time? Absolutely. But none of us were here to file it.
Is it
So
possible it's
I have
misfiled or
made a
filed for
motion
Tyler?
that
I'm
the clerk
just
does
curious.
not have
Just
this
here.
information.
I mean,
You know, short of looking through
an
every,
interesting
file?
folder in there.
I don't think there's any way. No.
Do I hear a second?
The 11 boxes that got destroyed.
Oh, I mean, that stuff never made it into those boxes. This is in a whole different area and a
Okay.
whole, but like I said, things from years ago weren't necessarily, we may not have kept copies. They may have gotten a permit, and out the door the permit went, whether we
Property was
kept it.
split, there's no records of that.
Well, that wouldn't be in their, that part isn't in their file.
When was the property split?
Hmm?
When was it split?
Years ago, over 24 years ago, because I've been here 24.
It was probably split when they put the house on it.
Well, the easement probably split it. Maybe one guy owned it all the way to the ditch. I don't know.
Well, that's what I asked, but he doesn't know.
There's a pole barn in between me, and the pole barn used to be hooked to the property at my place. That pole barn's 3 foot off my property line.
Yep.
So somebody had to agree that pole barn being built, so if there's no records on my property, we'll get the records from the neighbor's property, and we'll figure that one out. I love
The
Poyos, they're great.
question is, on this appeal, the clerk don't have this information. Do you?
I gave him whatever else I could find.
This ain't nothing.
So the,
When's the last time you talked to Fred about this?
Me?
Yeah,
Back in January.
okay, so when this came in on April 29th, there was no further contact made with Fred specific to what he was appealing on. To
No,
see
I
if,
was told it was an appeal that you got board, so I
okay.
didn't, I can contact him again.
Well, I
This
mean,
appeal is nothing like the original. Nothing.
okay,
Even these questions are nothing like these.
well, I think he's making an argument in it, I never saw the original.
So the bottom line is I have made a motion
I'll
that the
second
clerk
it.
does not have this information.
Any and all dates and times of phone, text, or email messages between Township Attorney Justin Eagle and Zoning Administrator Fred Schmidt regarding my matters. Any and all dates and times of phone, text, and email messages between Township Attorney Justin Eagle and Supervisor Samuel Davidson regarding my matters. That's exactly what he's saying wasn't provided.
I didn't have any. I never did any emails on him. I went out and told him at that time he needed an attorney. We don't do boundary lines, we don't do easements, we don't do, that's not our jurisdiction.
But there is an ordinance for manipulation of water. I got a commercial driveway, I get a lot of water coming down there. Now it's being pooled off over the neighbors, they can't cut the grass, so that's gonna be an issue here too coming up.
And that,
But
that
the
is
water is
problem.
coming off M13,
Correct.
so you need to talk to MDOT about the water. That was a good one for you.
And I have talked to MDOT too.
And what did they say?
Well, same thing like you're saying, can't do nothing, there ain't nothing out there.
There's a motion on the floor, let's do a roll call vote on it, that the appeal, the clerk does not have this information.
Oh, Sherry already
I
seconded.
can't,
Oh, Sherry can't second, all right. Then it's- Okay. Campbell,
I just start with me, huh?
you're next in line.
So we, for clarity, she says there are no documents.
In her possession. At least that's what I'm just
For the
finishing.
appeal. This has been taken care of.
I find it very hard to believe that there's not a single document in this building.
Well, I have to come up and take a look in the vault then. Right, am I right?
It's not even in the vault.
It wouldn't even be in
You
the
can
vault.
just come and
Those
look, it's
cabinets.
open to the public.
In light of nothing being in the building, then, I don't know, so yes is I agree we have nothing here, and no means I disagree we have something here?
Yes,
Is that what we're asking? I'm just asking
Yes.
because
yes,
That is
that's how it would be.
not,
well, I gotta believe there's something here. So it would be no.
Davison,
Yes,
Cruz,
yes.
Class.
Yes.
I thought she can't second, how can she vote?
Oh, she can't vote. If it pertains to her office.
What is it?
Legal?
She's agreeing that there's nothing in her possession.
She can vote.
yeah,
She can vote.
that's all she's voting on, is that she has nothing in her
Check the records,
possession.
she can vote it out. She's already stated in public records, there's no records, she can vote.
I gave him what I had today. What else I found digging further, things I didn't know about back in
I think
January.
Yes, I know.
Deshana, yeah.
No,
Okay,
You guys know why a FOIA is such a nightmare? Is because you have to dig and dig and dig.
Yep.
And it's not acceptable to say, I didn't find it, because if it comes back out afterwards,
Yep.
everybody that voted on it is held accountable.
Yep.
we have been digging.
I'm not
and
saying you didn't do your best job. I'm not saying you didn't do a fantastic job.
She's just saying.
But
you
I'm just
understand.
saying I've participated in several FOIAs.
That's why.
If there's
it's taking
information
so long
out
to
there,
get them done.
it's your job, and I know you've looked a lot, to beat every bush. You might want to get a hold of and get in writing, the one guy that we asked back in January, and say, are you sure you have none of these, because he should call, and his cell phone company can produce them, and he has to turn them in. But if you say no, he doesn't have that, that comes back on you guys. That's why FOIAs are such nightmares. It's because it always comes back. And then we're on the hook for it, and that's why he's giggling, is they're really a nightmare. So I just want to say, before you vote on something, put it to bed, because we did look, and I know you did a fantastic job. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying Fred might need to be held more accountable, or whatever his name is, and say, hey, Fred, you never text message him. And if he says yes, then you get that in writing, and when your lawyer says, when that comes up, then Fred's accountable. Are you following me? But if you shut it down right now, it really opens the door.
We didn't shut down in the FOIA, we shut
Down the appeal, which closes it. And that's what I'm telling you, if you
Closes
close
the
it
FOIA.
as you're looking at it, and he gets a lawyer, and he'll tell you the same thing, and we didn't get something from Fred in writing that there's no text messages.
Because I can assure you,
And,
there's at least one message or one phone call that he
and that's all it takes
on
to
a
open it.
device that we pay for. And if it's a device we're paying for, you're screwed.
And I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot.
It's
but
not good.
It's my tax dollars too, and I'm just telling you guys that a FOIA really can get out of hand. Ask the lawyer. He's here. Am I wrong, sir?
There's lots of instances of litigation over FOIAs, yes.
They're sick. They're just, so I'm just trying to get you guys to look out for your bottoms. And I'm not saying you didn't do a fantastic
on
job.
FOIAs. We normally get 6, we're on 40 right now this year.
I hear you.
So,
Well, they eat up a lot of time.
the next thing is, the hourly employees' pay.
I don't have any supporting documentation on this.
I would like to give the deputies and the administrative assistant, which is Shirley, a $1 raise.
Hold on a second, everybody else is getting 2%. Everybody else is getting 2%, which would be 32 cents an hour. This has been going up steadily, 50 cents or even more each year, greater than the rate that the firemen are getting, greater than the rate that the elected officials are getting.
So
Or
they're
the
getting
office staff.
$16 an hour right now, so this would be $17 an hour.
What's a on-call firefighter get?
$16.32 if you're a combo, $15.30 if you're medical.
So they're gonna go save your life.
And they got 2%.
Did we get 2%?
No.
Well, it was 16.32, so.
$16.32 is what we make now. We haven't got a 2% raise this year.
Okay, so you didn't get a raise at all? Okay,
I'm
so,
just, that's,
no, I
because the chief
appreciate
and I
that.
just sat down and talked about it, so.
Okay, so there's been no raise for any of the firemen,
Because I just
their
did payroll,
lives,
so I wanted to
and
make sure I
fires,
wasn't
and
screwing
save
everybody's
people's, save
payroll up.
people's lives.
So I'd like to
But-
stay a little bit ahead of McDonald's.
I don't think they're gonna go work
That
at
was
McDonald's.
last year.
Yeah, we've already heard that one.
I understand, everybody has value.
And there's quite a few townships that are well above the 16 and 17.
Well, if you're talking about Bangor Township, there's a whole backstory to that,
Yeah.
that everybody got the raise, that's a whole different animal.
Lawn
But-
maintenance don't have any value.
So,
Get slapped in the
that's,
face.
that is a 6% plus raise for office staff who's consistently got raises every stinking year.
3% last year and 67% in '22 they got. 67, I've never gotten a 67% raise.
Okay.
So I make a motion, I make a
But we're
What
in
about the
discussion.
firemen?
We're in
Yeah, what
discussion.
about the firemen? There's never
Right
even talk
now,
about the
you're allowed to have
firemen.
discussion, so let's have it. If we're gonna give a raise to office staff, then the firefighters deserve a raise. Don't get into this thing, I mean, we just had a budget meeting, and
Never
they're
even
saving
talked
my life, and have. But we're gonna say $1 here, but I'm sorry, you don't deserve a raise today. And you didn't deserve one when we approved the budget in April.
Jim hasn't even turned anything in
Right.
on that. I wouldn't say they're not getting one, I just haven't gotten any paperwork on it.
Well,
No,
it should be standard
Everything-
practice
it's
across
always
the board.
been
It's not
dealt
picking
with
and choosing.
For the budget.
That's not right.
The budget was already set, and there were no raises this year for any of them, which I thought was odd. That's why I said, hey, I don't think we deserved raises at the
And-
time when raises were being done, because we didn't even have a budget done.
And you know, we can't get anything on the agenda no matter what we do, but there's no supporting documentation, so basically you didn't think we needed to know what you were proposing for a raise until we sat at this table, which is also pretty disrespectful, considering the fact that we did have budget negotiations and this could have been discussed. And we could have then talked about whether or not the firefighters were gonna get a raise, you know, for risking their lives and fighting fires and all that good stuff. I think that
The
people would
reason
find that to
why
be a
there
little
was
more
nothing
important.
on the budget for the firefighters is because every year we get it from the fire chief. And he did not give us anything.
So as a board, we can't make a suggestion?
There's no reason we can't
Why isn't it
say,
standard? It doesn't make sense that it isn't standard. If it's standard for elected officials every year, it should be standard for the firemen every year. We shouldn't have to wait until somebody comes and asks. We shouldn't have to. That's not right.
The fire chief has always made the decision who gets what.
We standardized that when
I-
we gave them all a raise the last time and bumped everybody up.
and we had to fix all the messed up
their rank.
pensions last year.
Well,
So-
that was a whole different ballgame on
Yeah.
when we were paying for the pensions. But I
So-
corrected that problem.
I'm gonna make a motion to table this until more discussion can be had, because I think we need to be consistent on this and not just pick and choose who gets what and how much. I don't think that's right. I don't think it values the people in other departments if there's not a standard practice. It's standardized for us as elected officials, it should be standardized across the board, so my motion is to table.
Second it,
What? You had a motion.
it died.
But nobody seconded it. So
Well, nobody was asked to second it. Okay, all right.
let's do this motion first.
Lori and Charlie. To table, right?
Yeah.
Roll call?
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
Please,
Sure.
The roll call is to table it or not table it?
to table.
And have a workshop.
No, they
It should
want,
be discussed, whether or not it's
Yeah, there should be a workshop.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it needs to be
Absolutely, I would
discussed.
agree with what Melissa's suggesting.
motion on the floor is to table the employee for the deputies and the administrative assistant pay raise. That's the motion on the floor. Yes or no?
Davison,
No.
Cruz,
Yes.
Class,
Yes.
DeShano,
Yes.
Campbell.
So the last thing is the police report for June.
Wait, we had the soccer frames
Oh,
and
the
nets to
soccer,
add
yes,
a
sorry
motion
about
for.
that. One more thing is to approve the buying the soccer nets for $500, so I'll make a motion to $500 to purchase the nets. Did that include the paint?
Yes,
And paint for the soccer nets,
Up to 500?
up to 500,
up to 500.
not to exceed. I second it.
And believe it or not, we'll have to do a roll call vote on that.
Okay, Cruz,
Yes.
Class,
Yes.
DeShano,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Davidson.
Yes. So the last thing is FYI, we have the sheriff's report for April. And total, we had only 173, and 53 of them was traffic stops. 10 was reckless driving. Oh, that's a lot for that. And then he did 6 wellness, and the rest was, here's 5 simulated exercise. That must be where they were seeing if you had too much to drink. I don't know what simulated exercise is. The rest were, this is a pretty low number for the month of 163.
It'll be up next month.
So, any other information?
One quick FYI, I forgot to tell you, it's quick and sweet and easy. The light up there will be coming down for emergency light.
Oh, really?
MDOT, they keep track of how much we use it, and we don't use it enough to justify the stuff they put in it. To be perfectly honest with you, it creates way more of a hazard when we turn all the lights red than it is for us to just go up there and wait our turn. Because when them all turn red, I've been up there before.
Yeah, because they're not used to
I've
that
literally
being
just,
red.
I've stuck my hand out the window and told them just keep going, so. MDOT got with the chief and I sat down, and we don't use it that much for the hazard it creates. They're gonna, so when you see it, I don't know what the time frame was when they're coming down, when you see it coming down, that's why, just an FYI, so you know, but that, they don't have to do the maintenance on it that way, or whatever else, and when we push the button that way to keep track of it, we just don't use it that much, because it's just not. It's a hazard on 13, we already know it's a hazard, we just don't need to create one more out there for them, so. We'll wait our turn, and to be honest with you, when it's all red, they don't stop anyway, so.
FYI, can we look into, I guess, whatever that guy back sitting over there when he said water line on River Road?
Well, we can look into it, but, I don't know if their wells are no good or not. I'll have to go find out. That's the first I've heard that their water's no good over there. Of course, it took me 2 years to get the,
That's a lot of people signing a.
7 mile north of there. It was salty as all get out. Before my in-laws hooked up to city water, it was terrible.
We got
that's the first I've heard about it.
5 people signed saying we need help. That's more than the one guy on Mackinac. We should look in and see what the cost would actually be to,
Well, it's a mile.
is it a true mile? I don't know that.
Yes, it's a mile. 7 miles, 8 miles.
And this one,
Over a mile.
so you're saying it would cost $80,000 to put on? Was this one $40,000?
No, this one was, fire hydrants and everything. This one was, I honestly, was it 100? I'll have to look it up. We can look into it. Again, that's the first I heard that the water was no good up there. This guy has been without water 2 years, or 3, when his well went dry.
Well, if they're having trouble, I mean, that's
What
what
the,
we have municipal water for.
that's the reason, and that's how it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to expand our system.
So I will entertain a motion, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
911,
Motion
yeah, right
carries.
across from the corner with, they only own 70.